going on? My name is Amy Nicholas. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm talking about perspectives of trading a small account, specific strategies that I'm using to work on my skills, to trade small position sizes, and to just really hone in while having a good time. Something happened today that gave me another aha moment. Last week I had a day trading breakthrough, and it's funny, it was on a Friday as well, and today is also Friday. My breakthrough last week was that I realized I'm a scalp trader, that I like to scalp for quick momentum moves. I don't like to be in the trade for more than like 10 minutes. If I'm in it for, 30 seconds, a minute, awesome, a couple minutes to let something play out, it's great. Today, I actually got some sleep. I'm on the West Coast, so the market opens at 6:30 for me. I didn't even get up till 6. Normally, I'm up at like 4:15 because I'm just preparing my day and getting ready. And I thought last night I just wasn't going to trade today. I'm like, you know what? I did 4 days this week, and I feel like I just do better by trading 4 days instead of 5, not treating it like a full-time job per se, because it puts like unnecessary stress and pressure on me. So that was my mentality this morning, and I just sort of eased into my day. I was watching some informative trading videos this morning. I was following my guy Gareth Soloway and listening to his live and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I just decided I was going to have a nice slow morning. I was going to do some reading and just like kind of have my own time instead of worrying about trading. So I pretty much had it off the table until I started reading this book. And actually I didn't start, but I was reading it, called The Playbook by Mike Bellafiore. It's an insider look at how to think like a professional trader. And it's a lot of conversations and notes back and forth from him talking to the full-time traders that he has working at his firm. And there was this conversation about a specific trade where they went into super detail, and the guy was basically explaining that he had different stop amounts for positioning into the trade. So he would enter the trade, have a certain stop, he would add more, have a different stop, have a different stop. And his was based on technical levels and specific price points of where the stops were. But when I first read it, I just had the idea, like, what if I had different stop amounts, like 15 cents, 25 cents, 30 cents, and just scaled into the trade that way. And I got the idea to test this, and I was going to wait until Monday, and I said, you know what? Screw it. Let's just call it a practice day. I'm going to get on the desktop. I'm going to just play around in Thinkorswim. I'm just going to trade like one share at a time. This is my practice version. I don't do the demo account or the paper trading account. I play for real money because I'm like, this to me is a lot more realistic when you're going to, trade full time. Like, you want to have that same sort of environment. And for me to paper trade, I'm just not going to feel it, right? So I decided to just, have some fun. It was just a game. Let me see how this plays out. So what I did was I looked at the charts. This was like a weird time of day. It was 9:30 my time, and that would be 12:30 on the East Coast. So actually it was within the lunch hour, the 12 to 1 lunch hour. And I didn't really plan it that way. I just jumped on and said, hey, if there's a setup that I like, I'll start practicing this. So I happened to catch a nice move on Tesla. And I don't know if I can bring it up exactly on the chart. I did screenshot it on my phone, but I'm using my phone right now. So let me see if I can pull this up. I also changed something too. So I've been trading on the 5-minute chart, and I decided to trade on the 3-minute chart. And so earlier today, let's see if I can find the time. Right about here. Okay. So you see this long bullish candle here, okay? And sorry, I can't zoom in too much. I'd have to move the whole thing here, but there was a long bullish candle forming as I'm looking at the chart and watching price action. So I jump in right about the kind of end of that candle into this nice move up to here into this nice move up to here. And I scaled 3 times. So what I did was I placed custom order templates in Thinkorswim so that I could just easily have a buy order, a take profit order, and a stop all in the same template. And I just made it so that one template was for 15-cent stop, one was for a 25-cent stop, and one was for a 30-cent stop. So my prices, I get in the ETF TSLR, which is going long or bullish on Tesla. I got in at the first order went through, I think I started with the largest stop, 12.59, then it was 12.60, then it was 12.65. So it was kind of like perfectly entering the trade as I would want to because the price was going up. And what I'm learning from, books are falling over here, this book, Best Loser Wins, is to scale into winning trades. So that just happened to work out. All I was doing was buy, pick the template, click, buy, click the template, pick. And then it just how happened to be how it played out, that the stock was continuously moving up. So I had these 1 share per, each stop. So I had 3 into this trade, and I was just going for a 1-to-1. So if I risked 15-cent stop, I was going to try to gain 15 cents. Same with the 25 and the 30. And I'm watching the charts. What's nice is on Thinkorswim, it will show all your different orders, your limit order as well as your stops. And I could kind of see like, okay, where is these going to start moving or whatever. What was great, this took about, I think the first time, so I got in the first order at 9:35 a.m. By the time I clicked the third order through, I think it was like 9:36. And it all went in my favor. Like the entire move on this trade went in my favor. There was, of course, micro pullbacks, and on TSLR, it's only it was at a $12 per share ETF. So you're not getting crazy volatility like you do actually trading actual Tesla, right? So, but it was just continuously going my way. So the first order goes off, take profit, 15 cents. Then the next one goes off, 25 cents. And of course, the last one was the biggest one for a 30-cent, gain one way or the other. And it took a little bit longer for that one to fully play out. And I'm glad I didn't touch anything because I was just watching the charts, seeing where it was. It just clean moves. Like these are the perfect kind of trades for me. It's just super obvious. You have some pullback and you have some like fluctuation in the 3-minute or 5-minute candle, whatever you're looking at. But overall, you could just see like this is where it's going. And I'm looking at the chart, and I remember looking, there was this line here, 248 was the price on Tesla, and it was a resistance line. I think it was for, I don't know, on my chart it says open, like the opening price of Tesla today. So I guess that's what it was. I was kind of just like, hey, I see a line of resistance. So it's kind of like hoping, maybe I could keep riding the trade for a bit. So all of the orders executed. I'm in and out of the trade of all 3 shares by 9:46. So it took 11 minutes for that trade to play out. And I ended up with 70 cents profit. Like every one of them went to take profit. None of them hit my stop, which I thought was pretty impressive because I thought that 15-cent stop, that's pretty tight, right? So yeah, so then I could kind of see the sellers starting to come in at that 248 level. And I was glad it played out where I got out just before that resistance line. And there was some selling, some down pressure. If I had still been in the trade on one of these, I might have got stopped out. I don't think it moved too much. So I watched, and finally, I kind of could see that the signal lines were crossing. And I was like, okay, I'm glad, that I got out for that. So then I'm still watching to see if maybe Tesla breaks through this 248. Maybe there's some selling, but then it maybe has another leg up. Sure enough, it did. So it kept going, and I said, well, let me try, I'm going to, try to keep the profits I just gained as 70 cents, woohoo. And I'm going to, instead of doing the stops at 15, 25, and 30, I decided to just half down, mostly that. So I went 10, 15, and 20 cent stops. So I had my templates all set up, and then I started buying. So 1, 2, 3, I got in at 1308, 1309, and 1310. And it took about a minute for the trade to go in my favor. And that's kind of like my threshold for scalping. It's like, if it doesn't go my way that first minute, I'm in at the wrong time. Like, it's just not gonna play out in a nice clean move and an obvious setup. Sure enough, I could turn around at any point, but for me, that's kind of my pain threshold, is like, if it's not there by a minute, you're in the green, get out. But thankfully it went there. And the first one, I'm in it for a minute for take profit. So the execution, this was the 10 cent, take profit level, out at 13.19, got my 10 cents. Then the next one took about a minute and a half total from since I got in, got out at 13.24, took my profit of 15 cents for the 1 share. And the third one was starting to slow down. The momentum was like kind of wavering, and I'm thinking, okay, I should probably manually exit this last one that I'm trying to get a 20 cent gain on. And I go to cancel the remaining orders for the take profit and the stop. And I was clicking the sell market button on Thinkorswim, and unfortunately I had the wrong default set. I had it set to 5 instead of 1. And so it rejected my sell at the market order, and I'm like, oh shoot. So in the time that it took me to correct that and sell it, it went from a profit of 4 cents to a loss of 4 cents. So the last one, I technically could have gotten all these ones, in the green as well if I hadn't had my glitch. But at any rate, I got the first 2 take profits, and by then the move was kind of, played out. And what was happening too was it was rejecting, I don't know if you guys can see this white line up here. That's my anchored VWAP line. So that was kind of also what I was watching for to exit the trade. I'm like, okay, if it hits that and looks like it's not pushing through, and pretty much that's what happened. So yeah, it went really good today, and just practicing, and I actually, P&L for the day, 94 cents, again, just trading these 1 share practice kind of things. I really just wanted to see how it was going to play out, that I'm just playing with stops, I'm buying in at different levels. I'm, trying to scale into the trade. And I'm also looking at what happens at this stop level, what happens at that. What was so cool was that this was such a great move at such a, like it was a random time. I just happened to sit down at the desk and saw this move on Tesla starting to form. And it was like a great setup. And I didn't overthink it. I just got in, watched my signals, and I never got stopped out, which was very surprising to me, because I thought out of the 6 different stops I had, 6 different shares, that I thought for sure one of them, might have gone against me, but it just didn't. It was a nice, clean move. And so I was in and out of my trades. What did I say? I started at 9:35 and I was out by like 9:53 or something like that. So 15, 20 minutes at the desk. And there was just some things I thought about after this, like, why was it so different today? I'm trading small sizes on the other days of the week, but sometimes it just feels like pressure, or, like I gotta perform, or I gotta be at this certain level. I gotta, be better. And it's just so much like taking it seriously. And what I realized about today was because I came to trade like with the mentality of, I'm just here to have fun. I'm just going to play around. It's just a game. It's just like practice. That like completely changed how I traded. Like, I was not in any trades like, a tightened chest or feeling like my heart was racing. Like, there was 1 or 2 times buying in where it was like kind of that thrill of like, oh, I'm in, And then it was just like, just straight focus, just looking at the chart, not worrying about P&L, just following the trade, knowing I had all these stops in place, everything was set up. I had my custom order templates all ready to go before I ever actually got in. I would set up the 3 at a time. Like if I was doing the 10, 15, 20 cents or whatever, I would have those all ready to go. So when I was actually ready to enter the trade, all I had to do was like find my template, boom, click send. I didn't have to like think, I got to change something here. No. Everything was all set up, which is usually how I do trade. But sometimes there's days where, you just kind of want to like experiment, try different things without pressure of like, what ifs running around your head. And today just really worked out for that. So that was kind of an aha moment for me, was using these different stops, like 3 different stops for one trade. I'm like, oh, cool. Then you could really see how it might play out. And what I was curious to see, which I I never got the chance to see, was where I might get stopped out. It just never happened, which is cool. Like, it is what it is. And I'm glad that I tested it with the total like feeling of, okay, no problem if I get stopped out on every one of these. I just wanted to see where it was going to go. So having that light, carefree attitude, just in it for fun, like really showed me how this is supposed to be how you trade. Like, not putting pressure, not worrying about it, just having a good time, like it just really felt relaxing and just in the zone, And so my other aha moment about this was, maybe continuing to do my 4 trading sessions a week. And one of them, like the 5th day, will just be a practice day. I mean, I don't know if it's always going to be on Fridays, because the reason I had chose Friday was, and I've done this before in the past, was that it typically had been a down day for me on most trading sessions. But last week and this week, if you count my practice session, they've both been winners. So I think I just come to the market with a different attitude when I'm in that mindset of, we're just practicing. And I trade different. So yeah, I'm not sure again if I'll keep doing it on Fridays, but I'll at least give myself one day a week where, hey, I'm just down to trading the 1 share piece, just trying different things, testing different things, being willing to experiment without the fear of loss or making a mistake or, hitting the wrong button or something. That, okay, cool. Because obviously if I had hit the wrong button on that one thing where I was trying to get out of that trade and I was still profitable, and it had been like a full size, thing, that might have bothered me a little bit. And I'm just, oh well, it's 4 cents, whatever. But I also had a third insight, which was, hey, if I'm, doing this, and I mentioned in the previous couple of videos on the channel, a little bit of frustration where I feel like not a lot of progress had been made, and I'm just, kind of like, okay, when's the next level? When's the next level? Where am I going with this? And also just trading small sizes. It's a little bit cumbersome, because you're like, well, even if I'm winning, what am I winning? Like 50 cents, $1, $2, it's so small. And so what I thought today was that maybe I would give myself one day a week and I would trade full position sizes, no more than I'm willing to lose in a day. Probably have like a max loss of like 10 or 20 bucks a day, something like that. But at least it would give me more of that sense of, hey, the potential is there to start actually building this account in real dollars instead of going back and forth, playing with pennies and a few dollars. So that way I don't stress about, like having to build up so freaking slow. I'm like up to five shares on some of my trades I've been doing. And I did 20 trades at 1 share a piece. Then I did 20 trades at 2 shares a piece. And the goal was to just keep doubling. And I said, I'll go to 5 next, and then I'll go to 10, and then I'll try to go to 20. And it's just so slow building that way. It's been a great learning experience. I don't regret doing it by any means. I've put, I think at this point, close to 50 trades under my belt, just trading that way, very, very small. Probably more, yeah, counting some of the practices. But yeah, I'm kind of like at this point where I want to give myself that freedom to just play, and if I'm totally okay risking the 10 bucks or something a day, 20, whatever it might be, then at least allowing myself that one day a week to be like, okay, here's a full position size, and I'll scale into it small. Like, I won't buy all the shares at once. I'll scale in like I'm teaching myself to do now. And, I kind of had wrote out some ideas that if the stock was between like $10 and $15, I would scale in with 25 shares, then I would add 10 shares, then I would add another 10 shares, and try to do it that way, and each one having a different stop, so I could continue playing with the stops amounts. And having that all scripted, written out, so that when I go to actually sit down and trade, I'm prepared mentally, like knowing where my risk management is going to be. All I have to do at this point is actually set up the custom order templates in Thinkorswim, which won't take long. So anyways, that's where I'm at, trading this small account, trying to grow it, working on these small position sizes in order to, eliminate the trading issues that come up for people as a beginner. It's like, you got the fear of losing money, you got the fear of being wrong, you got the fear of like entering a trade, exiting a trade, making a mistake. Just there's so many mental things going on up here that I find the more I can clear that junk out, the better I'll be as a trader, not so much by focusing on the technicals, but just by eliminating the noise that's in my head. And today was just a great day to practice and put that into play, because that's exactly what happened. I wasn't overthinking, wasn't overanalyzing. My mind was clear. Therefore, I saw a beautiful setup at a good time to get in. I didn't get in at the very beginning of that move on Tesla, but I got in at a really good time where it had plenty of legs up to go. And trading something low priced like TSLR really gave me the freedom to test these small stops, because I knew that stock or ETF, it wasn't going to move like $1. It's $12 right now, $12 to $13. And it's following Tesla. So even if Tesla moves a few dollars, that thing's only going to move, 10, 20, 30, 40 cents, whatever it might be. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to stick around. If you want to watch some more, feel free to check out the other videos on the channel. All the day trading resources, by the way, that have helped me on my journey, like these books and whatnot, I've listed in my day trading resources, which is a link down in the description and comments below. Basically put in your email and you'll get access to my Google Doc, and I just have a working document so that I can keep adding to it as I go along this beginner trading journey. So hope you guys enjoy. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.